So we first heard about Addison because I knew Phil personally, but also we knew of his reputation when he worked at other estate agents.
When we first met Addison, we felt that Phil was very open and honest about his valuation, and that gave us good confidence that he was putting the house on the market at the right price and something that was achievable for us.
It was a really smooth process. We had the photographers around really quickly. The house was on the market within 2 weeks, I think, of us talking to Phil. He contacted us to let us know that the brochure was ready, and he sent us the brochure. He then let us know when it was going live, so we knew every step of the process, and it was all really, really quick, and it didn't take long at all for the house to get on the market.
Yeah, we felt that communication was actually one of the sort of biggest strengths with Addison. You know, throughout the process, he set up a communication channel at the start, kept us in the loop, and really kind of kept us updated throughout. And yeah, we couldn't have asked for any more with that, really.
There were quite a few times when we weren't really receiving the right information from other members of the chain and other parties. Even though we were kind of towards the bottom of the chain and Phil didn't necessarily have any direct link to the top of the chain, he was still the one that kept in contact with all of the other estate agents, and he was the one that was able to give us the information. So if we weren't getting the information from anyone else, it was Phil that we'd go to, and he always had the answer, or he would always promise that he would find the answer.
Yeah, with some of the challenges that we did face, as we just said about, we felt that Phil and Addison were great with dealing with it. He was very clear with what he had shared with the other parties, and it really kind of gave us confidence that he was on our side and helping us to process it as best he could. He was firm but fair with some of his challenges to the other estate agents, but I think that needed doing in our situation. So yeah, it was really, really helpful for us.
One of the main differences working with Addison was the communication. We had a WhatsApp group between the three of us. Sometimes when his little thing popped up, it filled me with dread, but most of the time it was positive. And I think that was the main thing that stood out to us, was the fact that we could always ask him a question, he could always give us the information, or he'd give us a quick call. It never seemed like anything was too much to ask, whereas with other parties we were struggling to get that communication from them.
I guess it felt like a good kind of balance between personal and professional, like in terms of the way he operated, like it kind of had
and our phone calls with him were always really relaxed, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just like, it never felt too serious, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think the number of signs that we see around the local area clearly shows that many people are doing it. But yeah, highly recommended from our side of things, as we said, with multiple things around the communication piece, the kind of personal touch, and yeah, like it's not a fun process always moving, but I think Phil made it as smooth and as kind of enjoyable as possible.
I would say it was stressful, but it was made a lot less stressful working with Phil. I mean, nobody is going to turn around and say that moving house is a fun, enjoyable task, but everything that was thrown at us was made so much easier working with Addison.
And he gave us good advice as well.
Yeah, really good advice.
When we weren't sure, because we weren't sure, should we go and look at other properties? Should we try and hold out for what we wanted? And in the end, helped us to get the house that we were after and sell our house for a price we were happy with. So.
And he did take us to see some other properties when we started to think about, okay, maybe we need to look somewhere else. but he was never pushy. He didn't think, because the house that we bought, this house, wasn't one that he was selling. He showed us some other properties, but he was never trying to push us into the properties he was selling. He still wanted us to get our dream house, which was this one, and that for him was his ultimate goal, which was really nice. Yet he was still really helping us to try and find something if that's what we needed. So I think that really stood out.
I'll let you take this one.
Relieved. So when we sold the house, it was on the market for a while, and that was, I think, mainly because it was a relatively new build. There was a lot of other, there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of other houses of a similar style in a similar area going up for sale. And then we got a phone call one day from Phil, and we had 2 offers in one day, and it finally felt like, a whole weight had been lifted off our shoulders, and yeah, it was a really, really good feeling, and he was really excited for us as well, which was nice.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we said with regards to that kind of personal but professional approach and the good balance there. So yeah, we always felt that we were quite important to Phil, even though we knew that he had many sort of sales going on at once. We were amazed at how much he could seemingly prioritise us, even though he was clearly balancing and juggling a few things.
We said that quite a few times, because we kept seeing so many Addison signs going up, and we had been with him from the start, and we couldn't believe how quick he was to respond to us, and like you said, prioritise us, even though we knew that he had so many other properties that he was dealing with. It never felt like we were just a number. He still knew us personally and our situation, which was really nice. I do.
Go on.
Well, other than getting the phone call to say that we had an offer on our house and all of that, and then again, the one that said that we had a completion timeline, finally. I think my favourite moment was Phil had been the one calling us and telling us all of the information throughout the whole process. And then finally I had the opportunity to call him and say, I've spoken to other people in the chain and we've got a completion timeline, and he was a bit frustrated that he wasn't the one that got to call me and tell me that. I got to tell him. So that was a really nice feeling to actually give him some good news for once.
I would say personable, professional.
Yeah, attentive.
Attentive.
Yeah.